right, everybody, welcome back to the 1% podcast. I am buzzing to have my man himself. Oh, excuse me. It's gone. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start that all again, bro.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I messed up that coffee. Right.
Strong coffee, is it?
Oh, it's gone down the wrong way. All right, here we go. We're good. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the 1% podcast. I am buzzing to have Jordan Board on the podcast. It's the, I've had all three of you on now, so it's good. So Jordan, welcome to the podcast, bud. How are we doing?
Good, really good. It's finally, it's good to actually have a proper catch up now. It's been a while since I was speaking to you, but yeah, it's good to have a catch up and I appreciate you obviously inviting me on it.
No, thank you. No, honestly, I've been so bad. I was like, Jordan, can we move the podcast? Jordan, can we move the podcast? Like, it's probably been like 2 or 3 weeks now. But every time I go around to it, I was like, oh man, I'm suffering. So it's cool. But no, honestly, man, this is just, what's been nice is that obviously I know your brothers and things like that as well. And it's just nice to incredible family, very simple, incredible family. And you're all very like-minded, very similar, which is cool. And then all we want to do is just dabble into you. So I guess I don't know, like you get in a taxi and the taxi driver says like, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do?
Right. So I'm Jordan. I'm an online coach just like yourself, of course. Huge passion for bodybuilding training. I've been training for a very long time now. Obviously, I got into it with my brothers. Obviously, you know my brothers. So I've been training since I was probably at 12. I can about 12 years old. I started training, kind of dabbled in it about there. But as soon as I turned about 14, like 13, 14, that's when it started to kick up a notch, and I was training consistently. So it's been about 9, 10 years now. So obviously just really passionate about bodybuilding, and obviously that kind of turned into coaching. I'm a full-time coach now, have been a coach for 2 years, and I'm obviously English, live in Australia. I've been in Australia for 3 years now as well. So yeah, that's just me.
Simples, very simple as life. And obviously, if anyone doesn't know, Jordan's brothers are Sam and James, the Board twins. They're known on Instagram and all. Look at that fucking tan. Sorry, guys. But yeah, they are the Board twins. I've done a podcast with Sam, and I don't think I've done with James on his own. I did it with James and Kiana actually. But yeah, and Jordan is the younger brother of the twins. Because how old are you?
I've just turned 22.
Fuck me. What I'd kill to be 22 again. Jesus.
How old are you? How old are you?
27.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. That's just how he said it. He's like, yeah, bro, you're ancient. But no, what's been nice about, I think, in our relationship, we kind of started talking more and more. This is the nice thing about social media, right? Like we just kind of started talking more and more over time. We both have the same coach. Actually, all of us have the same coach. So we're all coached by Cam. So we all have a very similar kind of mindset to training, our approaches to bodybuilding, probably our coaching, to be honest, as well. Very, very similar approaches. But how did you end up in Australia? Is it the same story as the boys? Or a little bit different?
Well, I mean, fairly similar. Obviously, I came out here when I was very young. I must have been like 11 years old when I first moved out here with my family. We stayed there for a year, then moved back to the UK. You probably heard the story from James and Sam, and then obviously every single year we were told we're going back, but didn't. And then eventually the family ended up moving out there. They moved out first. They ended up moving out 4 years ago. I followed after I finished my aerospace engineering diploma and came out here 3.5 years ago now. And then obviously James came and then Sam came. So it's all different times, but yeah, ended up in the same place.
Damn, aerospace. Is there a story behind that? Why you got into that, or?
Yeah, so I have another passion, I must admit. Another passion for me is flying. So I've been flying like planes and stuff since I was, again, probably like 12, 13 years old was the first time I started like actually got into like a cockpit and flew is with my uncle at the time. But I've been doing flying lessons ever since. And that's kind of the route I took after I finished school in the UK. I was like, right, well, what can I do right here? At the time, of course, I was into bodybuilding and stuff. It was like, right, I could do like sports science or something, or I could pursue that, and obviously ended up doing aerospace engineering, which is like jets and rockets and fly helicopters, that sort of stuff. I used to kind of work on that a little bit. And then, yeah, finished that and moved out here.
Yeah. Have you got your license and everything like that for flying and things like that?
It's in process. I'm not done
Nice.
it yet. It's in process. It should be done by like mid next year now. I should have my license done. But yeah,
Is
I've done
it?
quite a few out now. And
I was gonna say because I know because obviously all my family's Australian based and things like that, and I know even with driving licenses and stuff like that, obviously very different. But you have to clock up so many hours now with your driving license in Australia and things like that. It's like 200 or 250 hours or something. It's a lot.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's a weird thing over here because obviously in the UK you literally just like pass your test like straight away, but over here you have to do, is it 2 years, 2 years of driving before you can pass. Same thing as that to a pilot's license as well. You have to kind of get your hours up, and it depends what route you take. I'm just going for my like private like recreational license, which is going to take 35 hours minimum, which isn't too bad. It's just every lesson's quite expensive, so it does add up. And obviously like you have to send the part.
I know it's obviously I get it with flying because it's a bit fucking scarier, right? Like you're in the sky. I get that kind of thing, but like it's also like more people die in a car, so it's like it's a weird. Australia is very like I think its whole rule system is like so extreme. Like even when it comes down to just anything really, it's like because I only found out like certain like drug things and things like that, different caliber than different worlds. So this is a class A, and then that's a class B and things like that. And you're like, how is that a class A or something like that? Is it like I think it's like weed or something like that. Weed is like a class A or class B. It's quite high or something. Like everywhere else in the world, it's like you'll get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, it's pretty strict here. I'm not gonna lie. I know airport security is absolutely fucked. Like I know you just can't get anything in here. I mean, not like I try to, but yeah, but they are strict. And I know that things like anabolics are a class A drug over here, whereas obviously UK is not. There's a few other things that are class A as well, which is I mean, if you're using that kind of stuff, then it's a bit shit. But
don't worry about it otherwise.
Yeah.
I guess from how do you are you in because obviously you've been there 3 years now, yeah? You haven't and then you've been traveling around a little bit. You went to Bali and things like that and spent some time there now that you're an online coach and things like that. How is life in because you're Gold Coast, aren't you? Yeah, you're Gold Coast.
Yeah, Gold Coast, yeah. So I mean it's to be honest, mate, it's a fucking incredible place. Like it really, really is. Like I've traveled a fair bit and I can honestly say that the Gold Coast, like in terms of settling down, is probably the best place in the world. It really is. Like the beaches are absolutely incredible. I still can't find a beach nicer. Like when I keep traveling, I'm like, fuck's sake, like it's not nice. It's not nice as I went home. But that's obviously why I moved to the Gold Coast. It's such a nice place. But in terms of traveling, I'm actually heading over to Thailand in 3 weeks. So I'll be gone. We're gonna be living out there for a while, Koh Samui for quite a while. But yeah, we're pretty much just packing up and leaving the Gold Coast for a while.
Sick, man. Decent. That's you and your girlfriend, right?
Yeah, me and Jess. Yeah, so we're actually heading over to. It's actually cheaper. This is weird, but it's actually cheaper to head to Japan for 3 weeks. So we're literally just going to Japan for 3 weeks, sort of seeing the area. Then going from Japan to like Bangkok for a week, and then we're gonna land in Koh Samui. We're gonna stay there for about 3 months or 2 months because that's as long as you get in the Thailand pass. And then head to the UK. Going to show Jess that, and then we're going to head back to Koh Samui and get like a year visa, and we're just going to just settle down in Koh Samui.
Damn, man, that's cool. Shit. Actually, I might have to come out. When are you in Thailand then? So were you going to be there if you're going to do 2 months? You're going to be there in the new year, yeah?
Yeah. So it will be. Oh yeah, it'll be New Year. It'll be. I think we land in Koh Samui on like the 16th of December.
Okay.
And we stay in there until about mid-February, where our visa ends, and then we're gonna obviously head off and then come back. But we're gonna be gone for a matter of weeks and come back again. So we're gonna be there pretty much for a good solid year and a bit.
Sick. That's epic. Fuck, that's good. Damn. So you got your trips and your life planned out, man. That's awesome. Damn. And then what does Jess do?
She's a coach as well, so she's the exact same as me. So we're both online coaches. Cool. Yeah, exact same as me. Like we're doing like she's actually killing it at the minute. She's doing so well. I'm not gonna lie, she's booming, which is really good to see because she'd put so much time and effort into her clients. Would have loved to see that, but yeah, we do the exact same thing, which is a blessing because obviously we can kind of just move around together and just do our thing. And yeah.
And I guess kind of backtracking a little bit, things like that. What's been kind of like, I feel like even following, I don't know how, I followed you for a while now, I don't even know how long, but I feel like your love for kind of fitness and training and the way that you talk about headspace and things like that's evolving massively. Like it feels like you go from like, it's skyrocketed all of a sudden. What's kind of like, what's been that moment for you where you feel like, because I feel the same, man. I feel the same. Like, has there been that moment where you're like, I really fucking love this more and more? And was there kind of that particular moment where it kind of flipped the switch for you? So if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that in terms of like bodybuilding or just life?
Just life. I feel like, yeah. Or maybe it's just an age thing now that you're a big 22. I don't know.
Big 22. I mean, I've always struggled with, I obviously told you about that before. I have obviously struggled with a fair bit with mental health in the past. That was one of the main drivers to when I actually got into training myself. It was from about 14 to about 16. I'd say probably about two years ago was when it kind of got really good. And then it's just kind of been improving, and I've been kind of adapting and sort of seeing what suits me, I guess, in terms of life. And I just kind of found my path. And it's been a long journey. I'm not gonna lie, from like 14 to 18 it was, sorry, that was when I was really in a bad spot. But obviously got past that, and then here we are.
What do you, I guess, like digging into it a little bit, if you want to talk about it. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. But I guess like
that's all right.
What was kind of that, I guess that it's that late teen years, isn't it? Like I think a lot of young men go through that sort of phases, especially in the world we live in, man. I think as men, like it's a bit better now. Like it's okay to cry and it's okay to do all this sort of stuff, but it's only recently, right? But what was kind of that 4 years? What did it entail for you?
Yeah, it was fucked. I'm not gonna lie. It was, nothing necessarily made me like happy. I was obviously just not happy ever. Anxiety was through the roof, to the point that there's actually times that I couldn't go out the house. I remember like even just walking down like the Western High Street is where I used to live back in the UK. And we went past McDonald's. I keep bringing this up to people, but I literally walked past McDonald's, and my mom was literally just like, oh, do you want to go get some food? And I literally had like an anxiety attack because I didn't want to go inside. So I had like mad anxiety for years and years and years, like really, really deep like depression. And yeah, it just kind of just compounded on itself. And it got to the point where I almost ended it in 2017. And I kind of obviously look back at that point, and yeah, it's good. And I think it obviously keeps me driving, because I hit rock bottom, and I feel like a lot of people need to go through that to actually get to where they want to be in life, and so I in a way I look back now and it's more of a blessing, but yeah, it was a hard time, that's for sure.
And I guess going into that, like,
yeah,
do you have any, like, in those moments in time where you're pretty deep low, right? Like where you want to end it and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what's going through your head? Do you know what I mean? Do you know, like, if you look back on it now, do you remember the thoughts that you had and things like that?
Yeah, in a way. It's just dark, man. Like it's just a really dark place. It's like nothing really made me happy. And that's kind of why I guess I focus on fitness a lot, because that 1 hour training session was the only set time of day that I actually felt somewhat normal. But yeah, looking back now, like, yeah, just very like dark, very like a bad viewpoint of the world almost. It was almost like I'd see someone that was like happy, and I'd be like, oh, like I would like take that as almost an insult. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm like, fuck you, you're so happy, this is bullshit. Like, I should be the same, as those kids over there playing like together and shit, but I just wasn't. And I was just like, yeah, fuck you guys, sort of thing. And I had quite a big like hatred for the kind of world, and I guess you could say, but it's pretty dark times, to be honest, man. Yeah.
Do you know what kind of, do you know any triggers from it? Like, what do you know how it stemmed, or do you think it was just like, I think sometimes we just go through those and we don't know how we've got into that situation. It's just maybe months, years of something building.
It's not like a necessary trigger that started it. I guess it was, as soon as you turn like 14, you're a teenager, right? So, or 13, 14, you're a teenager. So I'm assuming it's obviously as soon as the hormones start kicking in, that's obviously what kind of caused it. Maybe, I don't know, there wasn't a clear thing that caused it, but yeah, it just sort of compounded on itself, and it got just worse and worse and worse, and I started getting more negative feelings about everything, and it just got worse. Yeah, it just compounded. But yeah, that's that.
I guess the nice thing is what kind of, I guess you got to kind of 18 and things like that and things started to pick up. What was that moment where you like, when you felt happiness?
It was weird. It was really weird. Yeah. Yeah, I do think back on it a fair bit. I'm not gonna lie. Because I think it keeps me going to this day. But it was almost like I kind of didn't realize it, and then one day I kind of woke up and I was like, oh shit, like I've been like pretty happy for like a month or two now. This is really weird. Like
Yeah.
obviously I'm just like more of like a social life. I've got like more mates and stuff, and it was like yeah, it just was a lot better. And funny enough, it was fuck. It must have been over here just before I moved here. It would have been so. I came here when I was just turned 19. So yeah.
Did you know you were moving?
Um, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did at the time. Yeah, that could have been that.
I'm
Could have
always
been
going to
that.
blame the UK. It's fine. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I want to rip on the UK and where I came up from because it's a nice place, but
God, yeah.
it's where I grew up was quite a negative kind of place. I suppose that's kind of similar of obviously all UK sort of like little small towns and stuff. You know, people talk and it's people don't necessarily want the best for you. And that could have played a part in it. I don't obviously it's all on me. I don't want to put it on anyone else. I'm not
No,
saying it
no,
was the
not at
UK,
all. No, not at all.
but yeah, like it just wasn't a good environment at all. And I definitely since being here, the whole environment being in in Australia is a completely different thing. And yeah, it's very, very nice.
But no, honestly, I'm the same wavelength as you, man. I literally did exactly the same thing. I came here in when was COVID? 2019 or
Uh,
2020?
yeah, like 19, I think, 2019.
19, yeah. So I came out here when we had like a month lockdown in like the November or something in the UK. And this is when this place was open, the hype of Dubai was kicking off, and I was like, loads of people are coming out here. Fuck it. Like I built myself over that first lockdown to be an online coach. I'm gonna go.
Mm.
And I remember I got here and I was only here for like 2.5 weeks and I slept the whole night for 2.5 weeks. Before I was very much like you. I had anxiety, I had insomnia for about 10 months to kind of a year and a half where I used to get like 3 hours sleep. And I remember sleeping and I was like, cool, I'm going to move. Like
Yeah.
literally because I slept somewhere. But it's so true. It's just making sure I'm not going to say the UK is like very similar, right? Like I love the UK. Yeah. It's home. All my family live there, things like that. But it doesn't, like everyone that I talk to on these podcasts and things like that, a lot of them have moved or are moving or travel a lot and things like that. But I think it's because we all share a similar mindset where we need to be somewhere, put ourselves in an environment where we can be successful, but for ourselves. It doesn't have to be like Dubai. It doesn't have to be LA, New York, and things like that. It just has to be putting yourself into an environment where you feel that you can be the happiest and most successful. And I feel like 100%. A lot, and you've probably seen that in Australia, though. How many people have fucking like left Sydney, fucking Brisbane, Melbourne, all live in the Gold Coast now, and house pricing's gone up in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's been pretty nuts. Been pretty nuts. Yeah,
it's just that thing, isn't it? I think it's like environment is everything, and it could be like you say, like it could be like your whole teenage life. It just started to build up. Like you were a person that needed the freedom, the sun, the beaches, the walks, and things like that. But when you're locked in your house for 8 months a year because it's raining. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to blame the weather either for someone, but like, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And it's like this English culture is this like, it's almost like it's too politically correct. Like, oh, you can't say that because it might offend someone. Like, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah. I honestly, I always say to people that like, I can't suggest moving away enough from your hometown. Like, regardless of where it is, I feel like just moving away from your hometown, and just kind of starting a new life is such a good thing. And yeah, even like you said, like UK is not necessarily a bad place, but it can. I personally think it's quite like almost negative, like the mindset. It didn't really fit. It didn't really fit me and obviously my brothers as well, all the exact same. But it didn't really fit us very well because, we don't drink, we don't necessarily party. We're online coaches, we're bodybuilders. We don't really want to go out drinking, and there's a very big like pub culture back home. So, it didn't really.
It's very predictable UK culture. People like fucking work a 9 to 5, get on a train, get on a bus, whatever it is, and then they do their 9 to 5 and they wait for that Friday and they just go out and drink and eat. That's it, and then they repeat. But it's funny because obviously I work with a lot of UK clients and now I work with a lot more US and Canadian clients. And it's so different to see how the cultures are different. Because yeah, people, of course, people do it in the US and Canada and things like that. They work to 9 to 5, but it's very different. A lot of time they're like, oh, we're going to go on a hike this weekend and things like that. Or they're going to go do something this weekend. But in the UK, they don't have plans for the weekend. It's just for Friday, Saturday night. It's a weird one. And you can literally predict the people that go to the same pub on the same corner and they'll be there at the same time.
100%. I guarantee if I went back now, I'd see the same like old mates, same people at the same bar that I saw back 5 years ago. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Like you said, just 9 to 5, which is fine for some people. Some people
at the end of the day, like we said, if someone's fucking happy, mate, that's one up. Because I have days where I'm like, oh, like I love what I do, but I'm like, shit, mate, if you can be happy, I'm all for that.
100%. It's all about happiness. Whatever makes you happy. And for me, working 9 to 5 was the opposite of happy. You know, I couldn't stand it. I just felt like I was just kind of almost wasting my life, man. Like even I was working at the gym when I first got out here for a good couple of years. And I mean, it's a good environment. You know, I'm literally working at a gym, like for God's sake. But I was standing on the desk for like 7 hours a day, and I honestly felt like I was wasting my life. Someone would come and be like, "Oh, hey mate, how are you?" Like, good. That was it. Like all day, and I was literally just felt like, fuck, I could literally spend this 7 hours like working on myself and working on my business and trying to create a life for myself. I almost get frustrated, but if someone likes that, I guess then that's fine. But for myself, I couldn't hack it.
No, 100%. And then how'd you meet Jess? She's Aussie? She's an Aussie chick?
Yeah, she's an Aussie chick. Yeah, she was working as a PT when I first joined and was working at the gym as well. So I was obviously on the desk. She was a PT. She's just quit her PT job like 5 weeks ago to go fully online. Nice. But yeah, that's how we met at the gym. Yeah.
Was it Worlds?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, World Gym Burley. Yeah.
Everyone's World's Gym's Burley, so it's fine.
Yeah, we all moved to that. It's a good gym. It's probably one of the best ones around. But
yeah, it seems like it. It seems like the mecca of the Gold Coast, to be fair, which is quite cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I really miss the UK like bodybuilding scene. Like where I used to live, there was loads of like bodybuilder gyms. Over here there just isn't. It's just not even a thing. They just kind of they went about 10 years ago, so it's just all commercial gyms. And obviously you're not going to get that kind of like bodybuilder environment, I guess. But I mean, it's fine. But Burley's quite a good one. Ashmore's a really good gym as well. I say that's more like a bodybuilder gym.
Maybe it's Ashmore.
Yeah. Ashmore is more of like a bodybuilder-y type of gym. Of all of them, they're all quite good. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorites.
It is true though. The UK gym scene is insane, absolutely insane. Now, when you think like you got the ultra flexes, you got all the private like shreds, you got Kings, you got Muscle Works, you got all these kind of like realistically like the UK's. Yeah, it's better than Dubai as well. There's no doubt about it. There's 100%. Like everyone goes, oh, like it's amazing B1. I'm like, it is, but only like if it didn't have the atmosphere, it'd be fucked.
Yeah,
because like the equipment's like, like it's all right.
Really? Yeah, true.
Yeah, like honestly, like the thing is with the UK, it's all like Prime and Arsenal and all this sort of stuff, and it's just phenomenal kit. Like here, it's just like they have too much money. They're like, let's just buy loads of shit, and you're like, think about it. Like you've just built 2 extra warehouses onto your gym. Like, think about it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, let's make it all pretty. Let's get 6 restaurants in there and let's get a barber shop. And you're like, no, get some Prime gear. Like,
I mean, Jem and Sam was just raving about it when they were over in Dubai. So I would love to go there. It sounds unreal. But I mean, yeah, if they're just kind of bunging, I suppose it's just the environment, I guess you're going for there, really, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Like at the end of the day, like, don't get me wrong, the gear's not bad at all. Like, it's really not. Like, it is decent gear. But it's just like, when you compare it to like, if you looked at Ultraflex Rotherham, right? Or something like that, you see the videos from there, you're like, fucking hell, it's all just designed to be, maybe because it's actually designed to be more like producing pro athletes and pro bodybuilders.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And then here it's just very much like, it's like, if you watch the training styles here of like, I guess like Middle Eastern culture, it's like, it's just fucking drops it, fucking volume. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh God. Yes. So it kind of doesn't matter what equipment you use. Do you know what I mean? But if you're doing like top set and back offset sort of thing, you're like, I want like a really smooth hack squat where you can feel deep in the pocket sort of thing or whatever it is. It's just a very different, but it's sick. I mean, it's sick. Like you go in there and you're like, you're pumped up every session. So yeah, you can't complain.
So what's Dubai like? Like, what is it? Quite a busy place. Obviously, it's a busy place, but like, what do you do there? Like, what is there to do?
On prep, nothing. No, honestly, there's so much to do, man. It is unspeakable. Like I've been here, I'll be here 2 years in January, and I haven't even scratched the surface. So it's very for you, like for me, for our lifestyle, we're very happy to be like, right, we'll just kind of work, we'll go to coffee shops, we'll kind of travel around, we'll eat a little bit, we'll just go to different locations, we'll go to the gym and train. You might go to a beach club, take your laptop down there and chill at a beach club sort of thing. But that's literally it. And then on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever you kind of take a day off, you might go do an activity, you might go to the mall and things like that. Like it is kind of like that. It's just a bit more like beach. It's very much like, I always think of it a bit, not, I haven't been to Gold Coast, but all my family kind of live in like Melbourne, Perth and things like that. So it's kind of, I get that kind of Aussie vibe of like Perth, and then Melbourne's very European sort of thing.
Yeah.
I always imagine it's very like Bali, Australia, with the beach clubs and kind of the chilled vibes. But then also you've got LA hustle, you've got New York, you've got London and things like that, where you're like, we're fucking going in. And that's the nice thing, because this place is built on, if you're employed here, it's not the best. Like I wouldn't want to be employed here. Like,
Right. Okay.
but if you're self-employed and your business is here, like networking opportunities, tax-free, all this sort of stuff. And like just the network to grow is insane. So you can be like, right, 5 days a week, boom, you're in. But then 2 days a week, everyone's very good at being like, nah, we party now. We party, we chill, we get on a boat, we have whatever it is. So people are very good at having the switches, which is quite nice. So there is that a nice balance here.
No, I like that.
But
Sounds
then
good.
obviously 4 months of the year that you don't need to be here. So that's when I was like, right, I'm going to get out. I'm not doing it again. So
it gets too hot.
yeah, like obviously you've got Ramadan for a month, which is kind of a bit like, it's a bit boring.
Right.
So everything closes. So everything from, nothing's open in the day technically. Some things are. But then everything opens at 7 p.m. when everyone can go out and eat and things like that. So everything's open all night, which doesn't help because I'm a morning person. So I'm like, my day's done by like 12.
Exact same.
Yeah, but it's lovely though, because you go for a walk and like there's not a soul. Like Dubai is very opposite for like, for you, you'd love it because it's like you don't see anyone because everyone's it's an evening sort of thing. But yeah, definitely like Ramadan and summer, you don't need to be here. So like next summer, I'm going to travel the US and things like that. Just because it's not fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I won't be going in there in the summer then. That's for sure. Definitely want to get out there.
It's the same as Australia, man. It's kind of like, it's the same kind of like anything from kind of November all the way through till April is amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously it's the opposite, but you have summer, it's the winter here, but it's like still 25 to 30 degrees sort of thing.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Instead of like, so instead of like 40 to 50 for 3 months.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Couldn't like that. Jesus. I'm struggling right now. Today's the first day it's been over 30. It was about 30 degrees today, and I'm dying right now. I'm literally like sweating balls. But
I think the nice thing here is that everything's designed with like, it's aircon based. So like, what is it now?
Yeah.
What are we? October 26th. Says it's 33, which is like, it's nice. You can walk outside. So
it's good that you got aircon. That's what the issue is, because we don't have aircon in our house, because we're in like a small little like, I guess like beachy kind of house at the minute. We're obviously moving from here, but it's a really good location, but there isn't any like fans or anything or any like anything else. It gets fucking hot. It's like a hot box. But
that's the thing I noticed with even my dad's house in Australia, is that like all the houses are still old. They haven't evolved with kind of AC and things like that. So a lot of it gets added over time. At least everything here is like 50,
brand new.
The city's 50 years old, not even 50 years old.
Yeah, true. Well, there you go. Everywhere you go is gonna have one, so that's fine. Yeah,
so it's super easy. So it's cool. Anyway, on to you, because I know you are. When's your shoot? When's your shoot?
What day is it today? Wednesday. 3 days out. So Wednesday. Sorry, Saturday. Yeah.
And then I guess what's been the last couple of years? You said the last couple of years has been really full on and things like that for you. It's been great to see you packed on a fucking lot of muscle, because obviously I see it from like a weight standpoint. I think it was like, I think you posted it today. Was it like 150 pounds or so, 115 or something like that? And then it was 197 or something like that, right? Or...
Yeah, so it was 100 oh god, 154 pounds, and then I bumped up to, bear in mind that's off season, that's
yeah,
holding fat.
Yeah,
and
then
obviously
it's like you at shoot lean,
at shoot lean at 191, so that's 35 pounds, 35 pounds up in weight with better condition.
Yeah, that's sick. That's crazy. I think that's the nice thing when you see, like, especially you being young, like a younger physique, you're like, oh fucking hell, what's he gonna do in another 2 years? You're like, that's the fun part. That's crazy. Yeah. Decent.
I'm excited.
How have you found kind of the I guess the prep itself and things like that? Have you done kind of different diets and things like that in the past and things like that? Or has this been the where it's a bit more specific, a bit more date focused, and a bit more, right, we are 14 weeks out, 16 weeks out?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I was younger and up until fairly recently, it was more, I've always been in an off season. I've always been in an off season setting. So I've never been fully lean. And there's been times in my life that obviously the brothers have been like, yeah, you need to get lean. And I'm just like, fuck, I don't really want to. Like, you know, I mean, I will obviously go through like mini cuts to get myself in a better position. And then obviously I build back up. But I didn't really see the benefit to getting shredded, which is obviously what they did. And there's a few times in the past where like, I've been like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just do it. And I just, you know, I try shred down a little bit, and, you know, I'm like, what, 14 kilos down or something, or 13 kilos down. And I'm like, I'm skinny as well. Like I look very hungry. So I've just kind of like been like, right, fuck that. I'm getting straight into a build. So it's been beneficial in terms of like a muscle gain standpoint, because obviously I've just gone through big builds and mini cuts to kind of tighten myself up, but then big builds and mini cuts. So that's, I would say, how I've built all the size that I have. But that's honestly, kind of what happened.
That's what, if anyone turned around to me and said, like, if I'm honest, like under the age of 25, if I'm honest now, like maybe 24, 25, 100%, I'm just like, just grow to your fucking 25. Because I'm like, regardless of what you want to do, if that's to get on stage or whatever it is, like me and you would look at people that are the genetic 2% and think, fuck, he's 22 and he's going to the Olympia, or he's 24 and I'm like, you can't look at those individuals. So I'm like, no, we need that 5 years, like regardless. So actually, like, that's the best thing you could have ever done, man. I wish I did that sort of shit, 100%. Like, I wish I bypassed my first 2 shows and then just did 3 shoots, and then this would have been my first show sort of thing. That would have been great, because I would have a shit ton more muscle.
Yeah. I think it's really important to really push yourself into a good off season and just to build that size before getting lean, because I find so many people, especially clients and stuff, they come to me being like, oh, I did a cut last year and, you know, I didn't look the way I wanted to look, and I kind of like half did it, and obviously I've now just packed on like loads of size, but it's just like a lot of fat. But I see it so much.
But it is though. But I think that, again, we can bring that down to like a mindset and mentality thing. It's just this world that we live in now. It's instant gratification, where it's like, well, I've worked really hard for like 6 months of growing. I'm like, 6 months of growing?
Yeah,
like,
fuck all.
I always think, like, when it comes to fitness and I think sport, and like, this is what I love about bodybuilding, fitness, sport, whatever the fuck it is, like sprinting. I'm like, it took someone to run 0.02 seconds faster to make them the gold medalist at the Olympics, and it took them 4 years to take off 0.02 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
That's generally that is real life results. That is what results look like. And it's the same with building muscle and things like that. I'm like, yeah, great, you've been consistent for fucking 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months. I'm like, that's not long to build muscle. And then if we dissect that 6 months, I'm like, how intent and accurate and quality was that 6 months? 80%. I'm like, well, then you can only get 80% of the 6 months results.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone needs to have the mentality that we do, because we are extremists, but just compare it to kind of like, you went to university for 3 years to get a piece of paper to say, hey, you're I don't know, you study business, tick. Like, do that with fitness. Spend 3 years 100%. Doing it.
I literally had a consult yesterday, and the person I had a consult with said the exact same thing. They're like, oh yeah, the issue is I just don't I want instant results. And I'm like, look, mate, like you're not
At
going to
least
get
he's
instant results.
aware of it. Like that's a good thing.
I know. It's good. It's really good that he's really aware of that. So I admire that. A lot of people don't have have that in them to be able to like just I guess say it. But yeah, like yeah.
And I
Lots
guess
to say there.
no, you're good. No, no, it's so true. And I guess how's the prep been? When did you start and things like that? Like what have you learned about yourself in this prep? Because I think when you do dieting phases, you learn a lot about yourself and you get very, I guess being in a relationship as well, you learn, okay, I'm a bit snappy now, I'm a bit hungry now, I'm a bit tired now and things like that. What sort of things,
Yeah.
I guess, how long's the prep been? And then kind of what are the things that you've learned throughout that kind of phase, the major things that stand out to you?
All right. So I've been in prep for over 4 months now. It's been a long process.
Nice.
But that was obviously, I'd say probably a bit more than 4 months. The issue is that I had that trip in Thailand. And it was more of like a full travel trip. It wasn't, I didn't settle down in one spot. It was like I was going places every other day. And I was obviously I was staying within my calories perfectly. But it's obviously, some places don't even have a fucking fridge or something like that. So it's a bit of an issue. It was a bit of an issue. I'm not going to lie. So that whole month I would class as almost write off. So about overall, probably about 3.5 months.
Okay. Yeah. Like 14, 15 weeks. Yeah.
Not too bad, pretty quick. And I've dropped about 14 kilos. I peaked pretty hard. Bear in mind, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like 5'8", 5'8.5".
Are you?
And yeah. I'm like
way taller than that.
Nah. I'm a couple inches shorter than James and Sam, but I peaked at 100. I was 100 kilos at my height, and
that's fucking big.
That's it was heavy. I was heavy. I felt heavy. My cardiovascular health was just fucked. Like absolutely fucked.
So when you do cardio for the first session, you're like, fuck, mate.
Yeah, like I jumped on a stepper and I was on number 4, and my heart rate was going at 160. It was, on a fucking stepper. I was like, fuck me, this is ridiculous, because I had to push so hard up into that build. I peaked at probably about almost 6,000 calories, 5,600. So calories away to the point that like I couldn't physically eat anymore. So I was like, right, I have to just get rid of cardio at this point. Like it's obviously it's useless for what I'm trying to do right now. I need the food. So obviously I got to the point where I bumped cardio off probably 3-4 months, probably before I peaked. And cardio just went out the window, and my resting heart rate was almost 100. I'd say it was around about 100, which is very unhealthy. And yeah, it's not nice. It's not nice. I've always looked up at like, growing up being like, fuck, I just want like to be big and like the off-season look. But once you get there, it's not actually that nice. Like I was fucked. Nah, you feel drained as well. The energy's gone and you can't even move. I was panting 24/7. So yeah, anyway, I peaked hard at 5'8". That would have classed me in quite heavily obese, quite literally, if you looked at my body mass index or scale. And yeah, I mean, I haven't been too bad in terms of mental state towards this cut. It's been all right. There's been a few things that I've taken that has caused that, but I just bung that off. And yeah, I think it's the past probably few weeks I've been a bit more snappy. Calories are down to 1,900 at the minute, so very low and very high expenditure. For me, that's a fair, quite low. So I've been a little bit snappier, but it's
big from 5.7 to 19. Yeah, it's a big fucking drop in there. Yeah,
a huge drop. It's a huge drop. And yeah, I realistically haven't been too bad. I'd be quite excited to go for a prep, like a full prep.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think but honestly, I always think when you do shoot preps, I always think like add on 5 or 6 more weeks. That's kind of it, really. That's it. Depends on like, I guess, what kind of look you want to bring to a shoot. But for you, it's going to be a lean, athletic, like realistically, you're probably, I don't know, like if you added on 5-6 more weeks, you'd probably get in stage condition. You might have to push a bit hard, but I don't think, mate, do you know what I mean? It's hard to know, isn't it? But I always think like, if you do a shoot, I'm like, okay, cool, 5 to 6 weeks normally in my head.
I would literally say that. I'd say 6 weeks. I'm sitting about 86 this morning fast, which is very light. But I'd say I'd probably get quite low. I'd probably get almost, probably 81, I'd say, stage.
Yeah. Oh man, I was shocked. I was fucking shocked at my weight. Like, because I did my shoot last year at very similar to you right now. No, I didn't. I did my shoot last year at 86. So yeah, right? Same as you?
Yep.
I'm 79.5 today.
Wow. Okay.
And the lightest I've been was 78 on the dot. And that was last Wednesday on peak week. So in my head, I'm like, fuck me. Like, did I even grow? Like, what did I do? But then you're like, you did, but you're like, there's a big difference between like getting abs and then getting peeled.
Very big difference. Yeah.
And it was interesting because it's like the day after. This is the thing when it's obviously like when you're in peak, you deplete, you fucking water everything, right? So there's a whole different ball game then. But I kind of just enjoyed. I kind of ate whatever I wanted, sushi and things like that on the Sunday. And then then I woke up 80.2. And that I felt full, big, and things like that at 80. So it's kind of one of those things where I've said it to a bunch of people recently. I'm like, scale weight really doesn't like it. It kind of matters to me now because I'm like, well, I have a weight cap, and I'm like a fucking child in that weight cap. Because I think my weight cap's 93. Really? So yeah, man. So I'm 5'11. So I'm 5'11 on the dot, and I'm allowed to be 93 for my weight cap.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, good. And then I'm like, that's good because I'm like, right, 2 years out now. I'm like, cool. I can aim for, I could aim for fucking 11, 12 kilos if I really wanted to try and push that. But like, it's not, if I said 4 kilos per year of muscle, if I put on 8 kilos in 2 years, and then obviously being assisted as well, it's a whole different ball game. I'll be like, yeah, that's doable.
100%.
So it's doable. Like, So yeah, it's interesting when you kind of dabble into it, like looking at your weight now and things like that. Because I'm almost, 6 kilos lighter than you already? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I know I hold body fat really well as well, which is a blessing, but it's also a little shit because
you hold it everywhere, like, and it drops everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. It's good in that sense. I don't necessarily hold much in my front, like ab section.
Oh, you dick.
So even in my off season, when I was 100 kilos and fat motherfucker, I was still, I still technically had abs. I still technically had abs, but it was all around my back. I held it in places like my upper chest, so you couldn't really see it. So
it makes you look good when it's in the upper chest. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't complain. I hold it very well, but it also means that now I don't necessarily know how much I need to take off, because I wouldn't, honestly, mate, I wouldn't be surprised if I still had, 8 kilos to get off. You know what I mean? To get onto stage.
Yeah, you would. Like if you pick stage day when you're dehydrated and things like that, and 100%, you'd probably be 8 to 10 kilos for sure. Yeah.
I reckon. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But my cap, because of my height, I think I look at it before. It's in the 70s. It's in like 70 weight cap for classic is 77 kilos, which is fucked. Like I can't even imagine getting that lean right now. But yeah. I might be wrong. I think I've checked that before and it's been in the 70s, but I'm pretty sure it's that.
I'm actually I'll check with NPC. Let's do it. Let's have a quick. Let me try and register again because it all popped up here. Registration. Click here to make a registration. NPC. Right. Backstage. Let's go athlete intro. I think it is more than that.
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong because I don't know how I'd even catch that.
Let me see. I'm really intrigued now. Okay, so let's athlete profile. Add a class. Let me just add a class. Load up. All right, cool.
I'm in.
No. Here we go. So, classic, men's classic physique. What height were you?
I don't know if it matters point something, but I'm 5'8".
5'8" up to 5'9" included, so 175 centimeters.
Yeah, I'm 175. Yeah.
Oh, come on, zoom out. I can't see the. I'm really intrigued now. 190 pounds.
Oh, that's not bad. That's what I am at the minute. You sure?
So
190
yeah,
pounds.
so NPC, so it's up to 100. So 5 over 5'8" up to 5'9". So is that you?
Yes. Yeah, I'm 175. Yeah. So
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, 175 up to and including 190 pounds.
fuck. All right. Well, that's me. Better.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
mine's 212. No, mine is 205 pounds.
Yeah, right. I mean, that makes you feel a lot better. That means obviously I've still got some growing to do to get in classic, which is very good.
Yeah.
Fuck. Where I looked at that before, it's been a while, but fucking hell, I this whole time I've been like, oh, I can't even fit the classic thing because I know I wanted to get down there. But that's good to know now.
Like even when you do imagine, so say for example, like fucking 5 years time, you win your pro card, you get 5 kilos on top of that cap then.
Fuck.
Yeah.
5 kilos of growth.
That's the thing. Like these, like, dude, like they're fucking big. They're big. Like stood backstage with them. I was like, motherfuckers. But also like some people look like they were in my weight class, but I'm like, you look 100 kilos shredded. Like they looked huge, but I'm like, clearly not, because we all got weighed in. We all got heighted in and things like that by like, it wasn't even like it was like the Dubai community weighing you in. It was like US judges flew in for it. So you're like, okay, this is legit. He clearly is like, but yeah, it's deceiving as well.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, 5 kilos on top of stage. That means I'd have probably, realistically, probably like 13 kilos. If obviously that's obviously when I win a pro card, but yeah, it's 13 kilos what I have now, which is that's
a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, that's it. And then when you're shredded at that, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the mind fuck. Because I'm like, well, if I was 78 shredded, or 78 shredded, I'm like, fucking hell. Can you imagine 90 shredded? 90 on stage, depletion shredded.
Monster, man.
That's the thing. It's nuts. Like it's like when you see 212 guys though. When you see 212 guys, you're like, you're 212 pounds. Like that's not
unbelievable. The thickness they have as well is fucking unbelievable. Like everywhere.
I think that's the thing that I noticed with this show is like maybe because I was more aware of it and older, wiser compared to when I was like doing junior physique. When you saw people backstage now, like it's like when you see it on Instagram sort of thing, like they look big or people look very aesthetic and things like that. But when you actually see them in person and you see the 3D of them, you're like, fuck me, you're built like a cow, like you are thick, like dense. Yeah, it's like when you see like glutes, when you see a girl with fucking big glutes, but they're not fat glutes, they're dense, like they're gonna fight back sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, just so true. Yeah,
but that was the difference. Yeah, so I think you're safe.
Yeah, I'm glad you found that out. Yeah, I don't know where the hell I was looking or what.
But it could be the Aussie rules though, man. It could be Aussie rules and Aussie federations.
Doesn't matter what kind of federation, because obviously that would be IFBB that I'd go in. I don't know
IFBB. Okay, then it's NPC. Then I'm assuming it's fine. Yeah, NPC is IFBB route. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not actually planning on going to the classic route anyway. Like, because obviously I'm still under 23, so I'm still in the junior category. So I'm thinking about doing just like obviously junior bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I'd have to compete season A next year, because obviously season B I'll be 23. So I don't think. You know what I mean? I
take the time. Also, I would just like, it's that typical thing. Take the time out and do the class that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because like I think it was this picture actually. I think you posted. You can tell you got your brothers there, haven't you? Or one of them's got the fucking camera there, right?
Yeah. I'm tired because I've had a camera for ages, but I'm just shocking at editing. And it's not editing.
It's this one. It's when you posted that.
Yeah.
Dude, don't do bodybuilding. Don't do bodybuilding.
Yeah, I think I probably would suit the classic kind of look.
You do, because you've got that taper, you've got that kind of like, again, you've got that proportion, things like that. I always think as well, I'm like, okay, cool. So I've been given an extra 12, 13 kilos and I have a 26-inch waist.
26-inch waist?
Yeah,
Holy
so I'm
shit.
like stick some on my lats and delts and chest and my quads and hammies and butt, and we're good. Do you know what I mean?
26. That's mental.
Yeah.
That's so good. I don't think I'm anywhere close. Oh, I'm 28 right now, but I probably would be
But
about
that's
26.
still so small, man. Like it's not like hips are your issue. Like you can see it from the picture. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the taper's gonna be there. You're gonna be like that. So yeah,
Full X.
yeah. Fuck
Thanks.
bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
I mean, yeah. What was that? Sorry.
no, go on. What'd you say?
Nah, but yeah, I've definitely I've looked up to the classic guys for a while. Actually, no, tell you what, when I first started, James and Sam may have told you about this, but I always looked up to the like Jay Cutler and sort of stuff.
Oh,
So I was
mate, we
always
all
like,
did though. Who didn't look after Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler and fucking Phil
there you
Heath
go.
and stuff like that? You just look at them, you're like, they're human, really? Like,
I want to look like that.
yeah,
That's what I wanted to like at the start. But yeah, it's kind of changed a fair bit.
it
More
does though.
aesthetic.
It does. But I always think that we've gone on such a tangent here. It's like we're not even talking to people. It's great. um,
I apologize for anyone that's watching this.
but no,
Very
this is the
interesting.
insight into bodybuilding where we get carried away.
Yeah,
But it's the
yeah.
same like when you see men's physique guys now. You're like even seeing them backstage. I'm like, it's really annoying because they don't have a weight class or anything. Like these guys are 130 kilos now in their off seasons. Men's physique. Do you know what I mean? And
Really?
you're, oh mate, some of them get up to 130, 120, 130 kilos comfortably in their off season, and they're 110 on stage. If they
Fuck, I
just
don't.
did legs twice a week for 6 months, they could do classic.
Yeah, it's very much like a classic body,
So they
really.
need to
Yeah.
have like, I think they for men's physique now, they need to have a cap on it. They need to have weight and height caps, the same as classic.
And I didn't realize that wasn't even a thing. I can't believe that. That's kind of shocking, to be honest. I didn't even realize that. They
Yeah,
definitely need to have a cap now because out of all of them, really, that needs to be the one with the cap, realistically, because it's more of like a, I guess, beach body kind of look, isn't it?
yeah.
So,
Because where does
God,
it get to
yeah.
the point where they're like, that doesn't look like a beach body? That looks fucking humongous. And it is.
Yeah,
Like when you see
yeah,
like just their delts and obviously where they can just put so much emphasis on the tiny little areas of like the upper pec and the fucking collarbone insertions and things like that. And you're like, mate, you're literally sculpted. Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's absolutely
So true.
insane. Absolutely insane. But no, anyway, bud, what I'm going to do is because we can ramble on for ages here. So
Yes.
I'll reel it back in. I'll reel it back in. So obviously you got your shoot in kind of 3 days. How are you feeling going into it?
Good. Really happy with the look at the minute. I didn't want to get comp lean, of course, because that would be a very silly idea. But I'm going in there feeling pretty good. Definitely depleted today. And yeah, very keen for some carbs tomorrow. Cam's obviously just said carbs are going in tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm going in feeling good, and hopefully the pics come out good.
Oh, they will do, man. Like even just like unprofessional ones, even the ones you just got the other day, you look sick. So when you get a bit of a tan on, things like that, a bit of oil on you straight away, body hair comes off, you'll look fucking fine.
Yeah,
because that's 5% body fat gone. When you got a tan, you got oil on you, it's 5%, and then the hair's gone, it's 5% body fat. Automatic.
100%. Yeah, I'm so happy with the vascularity as well. I've noticed that this prep is just vascularity, it's just gone boom. So tomorrow when the carbs are in, I'm very keen to see sort of what happens with that. And hopefully I get into the shoot looking like a roadmap.
Oh, you will do, especially now because especially now it's warmer as well for you. Like you're like, oh fuck, it's a bit hotter outside and things like that. 100%. Where are you doing your shoot? You doing a gym shoot, lifestyle shoot? What are you gonna do?
I forgot the name of the guy. He's doing it in like some like mansion on the coast. It looks pretty cool. It's quite cool, like that sort of look. It's not like a gym, but I forgot the name of the photographer. You might know him. He used to do like Kai Green and all that lot for a while, and the big guys back in the US. But then he kind of just stopped shooting for about a year, and then he's getting back into it again. So I managed to get in at quite like a decent price. But I'm pretty keen to see what he can do. But yeah, the shoot location looks mad. Like it's a nice pool, like nice that sort of area. Not sure what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm just gonna just go in and just sort of pose next to the pool. But we'll
thing
see.
is, like photographers are so good nowadays. Like if they're good, they just tell you what poses to do. You just take for guys, it's easy. You just take a different color pairs of shorts, take a few different pairs of shorts, and you're good to go. Do you know what I mean?
That's what my plan is.
Yeah. And then all you need to do the next day is when you've had a bit more food or you eat, have a bit forward, go into the gym and just get Jess to take loads of pictures of you in the gym doing exactly the same. And then you've got a gym shoot.
There you go. Yeah, I'll get James to come with me again. I'm going to try and utilize him as much as I can while he's here.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah, too right. Because he's back for his visa stuff, right?
Yeah, he's back for quite a while now. I think 4 or 5 weeks now. Yeah, he's back for. But yeah, I give it to him. He's pretty good at photography and editing. I give him that. I've been watching him, past
He
few
is
days.
good, isn't he? Yeah, they do their own vlogs and their reels and things like that. They are good.
It's impressive. It's impressive. They need to teach me a little bit about cameras for sure.
No, that's sick. But anyway, but I won't keep you too much long. But I guess kind of going past the shoot and things like that, what's the mission for you going forwards? Obviously, a lot of traveling and things like that. But I guess kind of like personally, business, physique, and things like that. Kind of what's the mission for you, kind of over the next, I guess, 6 months to a year, really.
Months to a year. I have like about a year planned out, kind of. So obviously, because I'm a coach, obviously I'll be here, there, and everywhere. I want to go to Dubai, like I said. Obviously, got plans to travel. I want to obviously try and grow. I'm going to be growing my business as much as I possibly can. And by the end of the year, next year, I want to be hiring obviously people and guys onto my team as coaches, that sort of stuff, to really scale up in terms of business. At the end of next year, obviously, is when I'm planning to compete as well. So I've got a huge off season after the shoot, pack on as much size as we possibly can, which I'm really, really excited for. And then obviously want to go for the IFBB, well, I guess since talking to you, classic, we'll do classic next. And yeah, just obviously just live that kind of life, and obviously help as many people as I can with their life, I guess, as a coach. And yeah, that's the goal.
Simple.
It's the dream.
Same. I could just say the same. We're going to do exactly the same thing over the next year. It's great. I'm just going to grow a little bit longer. You'll get shredded and I'll be like, fuck, I want to get shredded again.
Yeah.
But have a little bit of a tradition. So being the 1% podcast, if you could give someone one piece of advice that's going to take that 1% further forward tomorrow, what would it be?
1% further tomorrow. I mean, I guess kind of caught me off guard there. I probably should have checked your other podcast, shouldn't I? I guess so one piece of advice that I would give someone trying to get, to get 1% further, I'd probably say just try and stay as consistent as possible. Obviously consistency really is key. And there's so many people that they're not consistent across the board. Like if you can just dial everything in and just hit things at a consistent basis, you're absolutely fine. And yeah, like honestly, I would just say consistency.
Simple. And it is true. It is so true. Like you're going to go through shit times and you're going to go through those down times. I think I posted up yesterday. I'm like, are you having a shit day? I'm like, you just have to keep going. You just have to keep going. And that's all it comes down to. Like the reason why someone is quote unquote successful, happy, whatever that is, whatever you want to demeanor is, they're probably the most consistent person in the world. Or you see them, oh, they're doing really well all of a sudden. Oh, Jordan's fucking killing it in the last month or so. I'm like, no, he's not. He's just killed it for the last 5 years. And you're just starting to see it now. That's the difference. Vice versa, when you start dieting, like, I feel like the first 10 weeks are a bit pointless. Like, you're like, is anything changing? And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm lean. All of a sudden. And it's exactly the same. It's just showing up, ticking off the boxes, but not so much ticking off the boxes, but doing it with intent, quality, accuracy, passion every day. And again, that's why you're here, man. That's why you're on this podcast, because you're someone that I think is moving at that 1% rate every day. And I love it. So absolutely spot on. Thank you for jumping on. Before, where can everyone find you, stalk you, things like that, just so I can put your descriptions?
It's just Jordan_board on Instagram. I have YouTube as well, so obviously that's just Jordan Board, and it's literally just Jordan Board across everywhere, really. Jordan_board.
That's way easier. It's when someone goes, I'm 67.97 on this, and you're like, why are you that on that? Yeah.
Just put your name.
To be fair, the boys were hard as well. They're like, oh, we've got our twins page, and then we've got our own personal pages, and then we've got our twins, and you're like, do you? And then I had to go and follow them. I was like, shit, I didn't follow it. Amazing, man. Cool. I will love you, leave you, bud, and I'll speak to you in a second.
Yeah, awesome, man. It was great having a chat.